Back in November, I broke my collarbone during a rush to jump build on Berm Creek.
Oh.
If this jump looks small on video, that's because it is. I don't really understand what happened, but I guess it was a combination of soft dirt, carelessness, and bad luck. Anyway, I spent the last 3 months doing repair and hack-focused videos to keep the content coming. Although I am proud of that content, it was definitely missing something. Thankfully, I have great friends. Kevin and Phil helped me dig for a day, enhancing the sketchy little double I had crashed on. But I knew it would be months before I could actually ride this new and improved jump. Since healing up, I've been waiting for some dry weather to finally hit this thing. After a couple of warm days, the lip and landing just need a little grooming before they're ready. Now it's finally time for redemption. Ground feels a little soft, but should be alright. It's smooth, effortless, and fun, just like a small backyard jump should be. But for true redemption, I need to hit this jump on the very bike I crashed on. Introducing the new and improved Murder Machine. In addition to removing the dropper post, reluctantly, I installed a 1-up EDC kit to run the front brake hose through the steerer tube. With that and no dropper cable, the Murder Machine is now bar spinnable. Except I forgot about one thing. The EDC cap tightens with a cassette tool, and there's now a brake hose in the way. Unwilling to give up, I cut a notch in a cheap cassette tool so that it would fit over the brake hose. Now I can use this modified tool to tighten the headset. With that, there's only one thing left to do. It still doesn't feel anything like a dirt jumper, but that's because it's not. In any case, all is now right with the world. Although this jump makes my recovery official, I have been easing back onto the trail for a few weeks now. I even went on a night ride the other week, pushing myself a little harder than I probably should have. But even during my recovery, I was riding gravel to stay in shape. And to keep things interesting, it was usually on my Diamondback El Oso fat tire bike. I got this El Oso last winter to ride in the snow, but the snow never came. This year when it did snow, my clavicle was broken, so Phil was the only one to get use out of this bike. And use it he did.
Dude, that was freaking gnarly!
But that's not the only backstory involving the El Oso. In December, we filled the rear brake with Johnson's baby oil as part of a year-long test. You see, some brake systems use mineral oil blends as hydraulic fluid. Johnson's baby oil is mineral oil, so it should work fine in theory, right? Well, these brand-specific blends actually do have different boiling points, viscosities, and other properties which, we can assume, make them optimal for the brakes they were designed for. So to obtain evidence as to whether or not this hack is safe, I need to burn through a set of brake pads using nothing but baby oil, hence this year-long test. But having never really taken this bike out on a trail, I've got my work cut out for me. To ride enough downhill for a proper test, I'll need to push this beast up a few mountains. With a proper granny gear, loads of traction, and the fact that this is technically a hardtail, the El Oso climbs surprisingly well. I can't push it as quickly as my trail bike, but that's not much of a surprise. In addition to this being my first real trail ride on the El Oso, it's actually my first time descending on a fat bike, period. I'm definitely going to take it slow and proceed with caution. Okay, so my thoughts on the El Oso. Traction is excellent, but cornering takes some getting used to. You can really feel the gyroscopic effect of those massive wheels, especially when going fast. Jumping feels easier than you would think, but again, making adjustments mid-air requires more effort due to the mass of the wheels. But all that effort is worth it just for Fat Tire ASMR. As for the baby oil brake, it felt fine. For one ride, I'm sure any liquid, including apple juice, would feel fine, but this test has many months remaining. Before my ride, the rear brake felt spongy, and it ended up needing a bleed pretty bad. I don't know yet whether this was somehow related to the baby oil, or just a careless initial bleed by yours truly. Both are possible, but only time will tell. I've also been checking the temperature of the rotors and hoses after long descents to see if they ever approach the boiling point of mineral oil. So far, it hasn't even come close, but I'll continue to keep an eye out during future descents. I know this video has been all over the place. Berm Creek, clavicle, murder machine, baby oil fat bike. We certainly had a lot to catch up on. But it's good to be back, and I feel I've returned a better, more calculated rider. If you've ridden big stuff, it's easy to think that you're invincible on anything smaller, but that's just not the case. I guess with experience comes wisdom. Again, it's good to be back, and from here on, things should start getting back to normal around here. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time.